Welcome, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show. It is the 12th of July, 2021. Welcome into Studio 44. Lots to talk about today, but before we get into it, Producer James, how was your weekend? What are you up to?
Barbecuing, barbecuing.
Grilling and more grilling. I got you. What'd you cook up? You cooked up something today, right?
Yeah, I made some spare ribs.
Ooh, spare ribs.
Smoked them. And some chicken, rice. I didn't cook the rice. My woman did.
Right on.
And poppers and some fajitas.
Man, you went all out.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Busy afternoon, I guess.
For sure.
Man, do a little bit of show today. It's going to be we're first going to talk about the Euro 2021, which was a year late because of COVID. I know most of y'all probably won't be into that, but it's the final. We'll get into that championship here in a bit. UFC 264 reactions by me and producer James. Fun night. I got to watch the show with Papa Romeo. He was hanging out, and got to see, somebody win and somebody lose. And we'll talk about that a little bit further, and then we'll end the show with the Dallas Cowboys, their playoff chances. And is Dak Prescott really a top 7 quarterback as people have him listed, or is he higher or lower? We'll get into that debate a little bit. We'll pepper in a little bit of Aaron Rodgers news that's coming out. But before that, are you watching that Loki show?
I am.
You are watching it?
Yeah.
The reason I bring it up is because yesterday I went to go visit the family, and Age of Ultron was on. And right after that was Ant-Man. I had never seen Ant-Man, never wanted to see Ant-Man, never had an inclination to see Ant-Man. Well, then I started it was on. It came on right afterwards. And I'm like, this was not a bad movie. I was like, I totally missed. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should just be a little bit more open to, the Marvel universe. And maybe Loki's not bad. I like the character. I like the actor. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll give it a go. Well, I don't know.
It's good.
I'll just have to debate. Euro 2020, we had a final yesterday. High drama, not as world class as we wanted it to be. Italy ended up being in the final with England. Italy went to PKs after tying up the game, making it level in minute 67. England, though, right off the bat, scored within 2 minutes, which was stunning. I was kind of washing some dishes while the match was going on, and I'm hear an eruption. It's of course, the match is going on in England at Wembley Stadium. But yeah, for the Italians to get things level in the 67th minute after halftime, stoppage time, extra time, then it goes to PKs, and the young English strikers just totally just kind of whiffed and couldn't pull it out. Italy was a little bit more steadfast, stronger down the road. They were able to. You really can't blame the goalkeeper for England. He did his job. It's just, the strikers for England weren't able to kind of, keep up, stay level, and they've sought a lot of backlash in their time in England. And the national team for England had to release a statement. It got kind of ugly, and that's just how, that's just how they are, I guess. I don't know. It turned out a little bit more dramatic than it should have. I spoke to a buddy of mine who was really into soccer, and he basically said the manager totally just mishandled the whole situation, substituted the wrong people at the wrong time. Italy finished strong. That's probably pretty much why they won. But yeah, man, I don't think that I don't think we should be, and it happens, I think, in our sports too, in America, you shouldn't be sending death threats to players who maybe don't win your team the match, I get it. You haven't won that championship in 50 plus years. I get it. And I get you were playing in your home stadium, but death threats, I think, are a last resort. If not, they shouldn't be on the table, if you really think about it. But, some people are just emotional about it. So you see people cry at football games in America. You see little kids cry, or the Surrender Cobra. But shout out to the Italians. They won the Euro 2021 championship. The next big tournament for the world will be in Qatar 2022 World Cup. So that'll be fun. It'll be really hot because if you don't know where Qatar is, it's in the Middle East, and it is really hot. It's one of those cities they built in the desert with no resources. They just they're that wealthy. They just imported all their goods, and they built this magnificent city in the middle of the desert where it's 125 degrees during the day.
Is there palaces and shit?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's that Saudi oil money. Yeah, that's what it is, bro. I don't know. Do you watch? Have you like yesterday? The Americans played Haiti in the Gold Cup or Copa de Oro or Copa Oro, and I don't know. Do you watch soccer? Or you like? Does it interest you?
No, not really.
Not really. It's a little too boring.
Yeah.
Is it more boring than golf for you?
No, I'd rather watch golf than soccer. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. That's good to know. Did you ever play soccer or anything? When you were a kid?
Funny story. I wanted to when I was younger, but my stepdad at the time he didn't think that I had what it took, and he was like, "Are you sure?"
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, he was like, "Are you sure? You sure you want to do that? There's a lot of running. I don't think you're up for it." And I was like, "Yeah." Bugged them. They never put me in. So.
But you had wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we used to play at lunchtime with the other kids and
Sure.
stuff like that. Yeah.
I don't think I had a choice because I was introduced to soccer when I was living in Laredo, Texas. And no offense to the people of Laredo, but I can't stand Laredo, Texas. I'm just going to be really clear about that. Nothing against the people. It's just my experience. Let's put it that way. And yeah, man, it was like, you're going to go play soccer because I was like 6 or 7. And that's the only really sport they played that young. And yeah, man, I got introduced to it and I really didn't like it. But as I've grown older and I've gotten more into like, analyzing, like student athletes tapes and everything. And I look at soccer and I look at what it takes to train in soccer. That's the best gateway sport in the world for what it teaches you. This is all the skills it takes. The best sport in my opinion. A small mic. That's why I always tell people, I got a small mic, man, small microphone. If I get on one of these big shows and producer James is back there and be like, look where we came from, be like, I don't know, man. We just had a small mic at one time. Now we got medium mics. I don't know. But I like soccer. It took a long time to like appreciate the sport because it's not American. It is the opposite of American. It is, like, let's change the rules. What's this offside? Why can't you be faster and kick it over the defender's head and score the ball? And you can't do things like that. And, everybody else in the world is like, oh, here come these Americans, want to change the rules, want to do everything differently. But we're just trying to make the game more fun. But then they look at us and they're like, you play soccer like high school kids in your professional leagues. I'm like, well, you don't even play our professional sports. It's like we had to bring our sport to your country so that we could introduce it to you. Like we knew what soccer was. We knew what football was. I'm just saying. Yes, we have the best sports in the world. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't believe me, ask the Dallas Cowboys. Are the most, profitable, organized team, franchise, club in the world. Most valuable, I should say. I got this big plate of barbecue to screen left. I guess it would be y'all's left too, or y'all's right. Try not to fidget with it too much. Let's get into a quick break. 6 minutes. We'll be back on the mic. 8:14 right now. When we come back, UFC reactions and then Dallas Cowboys to round out the show. Maybe a quick one tonight. Just depends on, I don't know if any news breaks. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show. Before we get into the UFC, let's just go ahead and clear the air real quick with AR-12. I was in Tahoe this past weekend at a Pro-Am tour in, this exclusive golf courses of Tahoe. I really don't know what's up there, but what we saw at the match and how well he looked there, I mean, I'm sure that golf course was fun, but he was on record saying that, he's going to enjoy the hell out of this week and start working out again, and then in 2 weeks, figure it out. I mean, what if you look at those words, as a Packers fan, he didn't say he was leaving. He said he was going to figure it out. He's going to do it in the next 2 weeks. Well, what happens in 2 weeks? Training camp. Training camp opens July 27th, I believe. Well, 2 weeks from now is July 27th. So the likeliness of him reporting is probably getting better. But, I mean, all it could take is like one conversation for it to get screwed up again.
One bad public comment.
One just slip of the tongue. One promo to get, I think that was his promo saying like, I'm coming back. Everybody relax. Just take it easy. We'll figure it out. That's what he said. We'll figure it out. Well, it's not me. It's we. Well, who's the we? It's got to be Packers organization. Coaching staff. I'm telling you, he's going to tell Mark Murphy and Gutekunst, like, stay on the opposite side of the field. Don't come near me. And then he's going to get dealt in 2022. That's the way I see it.
And when they win the Super Bowl and then, Mark Murphy and Goody Man are out there celebrating the Lombardi Trophy right next to you.
Let's say they win, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Let's say they win. That's a big ask. That's a lot. You got a lot
I'm
of
glad
teams.
you're willing to entertain the situation.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you my part is if I was Aaron, and let's say I'm the MVP of the Super Bowl, not the season. I'm saying the Super Bowl because he probably will be if they go that far. I wouldn't let them I wouldn't let them up there. I wouldn't. I'd be like, those two can't come up here. The GM and the president of the Packers. I was like, nope.
I'd be like, first, excuse me, brother, I'm talking.
Excuse me. He probably wouldn't let him talk.
Yeah.
If he was, he's probably like, they're going to be, they usually have like the presenter in the middle, and then they have, a group of people on one side, and a group of people. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers and his team and his coach over here, and Gutekunst and Mark Murphy over here. And Aaron's going to keep that trophy. He's going to keep it on this side. And he's going to hand it to his players. That's what I think. But do you have hope, or do you feel better? Do you feel the same? Do you feel you're not going to get your hopes up?
Not going to get my hopes up.
No?
Nope.
I mean,
I
what is it going to take? Is it going to be like, is it going to take you to feel at ease when you see him like jog onto the practice field? Mm-hmm. That's when it's going to be?
Yeah.
Not in the parking lot.
I'll be like, oh, okay.
I'll be like,
okay.
I'll be like, oh, finally. I'm going to tell you this. If he shows up, I'm gonna. It's like I said in a couple of shows previously. This was all a fugazi. This was all just a stunt for Aaron Rodgers to make the president and Gutekunst just sweat. Like he knew he was coming back the whole time, and it's kind of like that's been like the rumor, right? The rumor is he's coming back. The rumor now it's like the story is now he's coming back, not definitively, but it's like. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this week, get back to working out, and we'll figure it out in the next 2 weeks.
A few months ago, it was like, there's reports that Aaron Rodgers absolutely does not want to play with the Packers, and that's what I'm hearing.
2 weeks ago, there was a Washington football team jet at the Packers at the Wisconsin airport. I mean, what is that? What was that?
I don't know. I just saw a jet somewhere, and I was like, I don't even know what the Wisconsin airport looks like. I just saw a jet, and
everything was green too. So it's like, well, I mean, that's what people are saying. That's what's being reported.
Yeah.
Is it true? God only knows. All right, let's pivot. I mean, you're hoping that Aaron comes, right? You're hoping for this one last hurrah.
In the end, yeah. I'm not gonna say I don't care, but
your tempo or no, your tone of voice is just like, I don't know what to feel. You're real, just like.
Fucking numb, man.
No, yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. You're numb. You're like, it's like you're on. It's like you're Chris Moutinho last night or the Saturday night. You're just zombified. You're just like, I'm just waiting to get there. I just hope he'll come back, but I'm not gonna believe it till I see it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Good. Well,
no, man.
Good for you. I mean,
I don't want to set myself up for failure. Or, for emotional failure.
yeah, that's probably the better way to put it. The emotional failure.
Yeah.
Just do me a favor. If he leaves, just don't do like that Cowboy fan where you're gonna have to be consoled by your lady and you're crying your eyes out. And just don't do that.
I'll be in the confinement of my own home if that happens.
Hopefully in your own toilet. You don't want to let the kids. You don't want to let the kids see that kind of vision.
Nah.
Let's pivot to UFC 264 reaction. I just mentioned and teased Sugar Sean O'Malley's fight with Chris Moutinho. This dude's from like Massachusetts area, New England area. I didn't know this dude was who he was.
Had never heard of him before.
On a 10-day notice, gets called up to UFC to fight Sugar Sean O'Malley. Did he? Into the second round, I was like, O'Malley's going to get frustrated. And O'Malley's going to be tested, not physically, but mentally. He's like, what am I going to do when my opponent will not stop coming at me? And Chris did not step back.
Ever.
He stopped, but he never went backwards.
Ever.
He never went. It's just like a green-haired zombie just kept. And O'Malley's hitting this dude with combinations literally to put him on the ground. Better fighters dropped with those shots O'Malley hit him with. Now, we saw the fight. We saw how it all went. But how it ended was a bit in the moment. As soon as it happened, I'm like, no, that's wrong. Herb, what are you thinking? What was your thoughts when, and don't get me wrong, O'Malley hit him with like a 5-punch combination. I got it. I saw it. It was like a left, a right, an uppercut, and then another big left hook. I get it. But what was your thought in that moment? And then you're like, after it happened, what was your feelings about it? And then I'll give mine.
So, of course, initially I was like, dude, like, what do you, okay, so
40 seconds left on the clock of the fight.
Okay, so love Herb Dean. I'm not going to slam him at all. I think it was the wrong decision. And here's why. Of course, I feel like the fight could have been stopped. Like, it could have been stopped way ahead of that, right? Mm-hmm. But to choose that time, I'm like, dude, like, why? Like, there's only 40 seconds. I thought it was 30. You said it was 40. Yeah. There's only 40 seconds left in the fight, dude. Like, you're going to be like, oh, well, he got his ass kicked for, 14 minutes and 20 seconds. What's 15 minutes, bro? Which I understand. It's fighter safety and all of that stuff. But, I mean, when that final minute, maybe something can happen. He's pressing forward. Maybe because he was landing shots on O'Malley as well.
He touched O'Malley too. Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, like I was going for O'Malley, but I was like, man, maybe as the fight grew on more and more. At first, I was like, look at this dude. What are you doing? Just go down, man. And then I was like, oh shit. So maybe like secretly, I was like, maybe he'll land something, and I wouldn't even be mad.
Right.
But I mean, it was stopped, and dude, hats off to that guy. Hats off to him because
he'll be coming back.
Yeah. He lost, but he also won. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it was like the greatest debut in the UFC you can have while losing,
right? Because
you don't ever want to lose your debut. But dude, I guarantee you he won a lot of people over that night, including myself.
Yeah, especially O'Malley fans as well, and because they know what O'Malley can bring to the table.
Yeah. And
then it was not only did he have his, maybe his green hair is going to be a signature now. Yeah. But I know we have the Korean zombie, but now we need to have Chris the Green Zombie Moutinho, because this dude doesn't go down. He doesn't fall. He doesn't falter. He will press you and press you. And just think about fighters who are not O'Malley. They're definitely going to be tested. And apparently this guy has a ground game, and it almost seemed like he was trying to get to Sean, but O'Malley's 5'11", and this dude was 5'6". You're not going to close that distance with O'Malley putting that much, those kind of pieces on you.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I was in the moment. I had the same reaction you did, but last weekend I didn't read a story. I found a story on YouTube, and it was about a former up and coming boxer named Pritchard Colon. And Pritchard Colon was in this fight where, he kept getting hit in the back of the head, Well, the referee's job was to like stop the opponent from doing it and take a point, deduct points, and or DQ the fighter, and it never happened. Well, Pritchard Colon went to sleep that night and woke up a vegetable and is still in a vegetative state. And so when I saw the stoppage, at first I'm like, dude, let him finish the 40 damn seconds. But then as it, went on and went on and went on, and I'm like, well, maybe Herb Dean said he saw that combination land, and that was the stoppage. That was the knockout with him going down. Was that 5, combination melee that O'Malley threw. And that's probably what he was like. He's not going to stop. He's like the Mexican fighters when they get the lower weight classes, when they just get pieced up, and the referee jumps in. For us, it was just a bad look because it was the third round at the end of the fight. Yeah. Now, if it had been the first round with 40 seconds left, we wouldn't even be talking about this. We'd be talking about how O'Malley looked great. And O'Malley did look great in that fight. But the first thing that popped in was like, no. But then Pritchard Colon jumped in my brain, and I'm like, maybe Herb Dean did not want to be the first referee in the UFC where a fighter died in the match he was being officiating. Yeah. Because there's never been a death. And there's never been any kind of like massive damage by a fighter. And I think that's one thing Herb thought of was like, if I let him get hit with another 5-punch combination like this, he may die or he may be severely injured, and it's going to be on my watch. So he called it.
I'm reading here. It was that referee Herb Dean jumped to stop the fight at 4:31 of the final round.
4:31?
Yeah. I
thought there was 40 seconds. All I remember seeing was 40 on the clock.
I was trying to look up the punch statistics because it's like he didn't. I don't know. So
there was 39 seconds left?
29, right? 4:31 into the third round would make it 29 seconds.
I guess so.
Yeah. What's it called? I don't know if you heard his corner. They were like, "Move your head, move your head."
Yeah, you could. I mean, but O'Malley was too fast.
Yeah,
we all knew that.
Well, I mean, dude, like, I mean, whenever I was doing boxing, the coach would tie a rope from one side of the corner to the other side diagonally, and we do that. It was a drill, just like moving your head. It's like he was just coming, just straight. He was just moving, which. I did say hats off to him, but hats off to O'Malley as well, because it was looking like he was going to gas out. Going into the third round, I was like, oh, boy.
You saw him take that deep breath before the third.
And he's looking at the clock. I saw him looking at the clock, and I was like, dude, like, hopefully, but things like that, I feel like they build, like, the superstars. Like, it seems like the path that O'Malley is on, that he's able to back up his stuff. He's so kind of awkward when he's fighting. He's his own fighter. You can't like put him in a category. He's very just I forgot what the word is that they call it.
Eccentric.
Yeah, you don't know what he's gonna throw. And he's an entertainer. He's out there freaking dribbling an invisible basketball through his leg while he's like throwing combinations. Like it's very entertaining to see. I'm a big fan of O'Malley. So hats off to him as well. He did what he was supposed to do, and I don't know if because I'm pretty sure that people were expecting him. I was to just knock him out.
He did knock him out.
Yeah,
he just didn't go down.
Yeah.
I mean, he really did. I mean, he hit him with his entire arsenal. Yeah. And he just got to give it to it's not that O'Malley didn't knock him out. It's just that Chris didn't go down. Yeah, that's the difference. I
was telling my buddies, I was like, dude, I wouldn't want to. Leaving the bar one night, I wouldn't want to encounter that guy down a dark alley.
No, man, it's the green zombie. Yeah, for real. And it to me, it was a good test for O'Malley, because it's like you're gonna need to go through stuff like this to win championships. The next time, it's just there's gonna be a better technical fighter who's gonna press you that way, and it's good that he went through it like this, especially a guy who like has an iron jaw for that weight class. It's like. You'll be able to knock out contenders, but guys like this, dudes who like probably were fighting in clubs, their fights are getting started in the UFC, like they don't go down, they don't get knocked out, they either die, which he hasn't died yet, or they just go to decision because they don't break. So good on him, man. I mean,
yeah. He got the fight of the night bonus
75
too.
$75,000.
$75K, yeah.
Dana, they
Badass,
they asked Dana, they're like, Dana, are you gonna entertain keeping it 75 the whole time? Because it was just gonna be
60. Oh, was it 50?
I don't know.
I think it's
what's
60.
the standard?
I think it's 60.
Okay. So they were asking him if it would be like jumped up to 75, like from here on out. He's like, no.
Bro, really 30K? You can't.
He's paying fucking Conor $20 million to show up, plus to split the pay-per-view. Yeah, that's why.
Man.
Maybe you need to do better deals. That maybe Conor's just a better negotiator than Dana.
Yeah, true. I mean, it always comes the comment, well, who needs the money more? You know what I'm saying?
Who draws? That's the retort.
Yeah.
Well, who are they coming to see? The green-haired zombie, or are they coming to see Poirier and Conor?
Yeah.
We know who's.
I mean, that's been the ongoing discussion that we have. You know, it's like the money.
Not after this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I have more comments.
We'll jump into Conor and Poirier here before. What do you want to talk about next? That Hardy Tuivasa fight.
Yes.
So go ahead, lead off on that.
So yeah, Tuivasa.
Talk about a character.
Yeah, comes in. You know, dude, he has a freaking shoe in his photo that they, you know, tell of the tape. He has a shoe. Because he's known for doing the shoe,
Shoey, yeah.
which I think is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
But did you see? Well, I guess we'll get there after he left. Somebody put hot sauce in one of the shoes.
Yeah,
He's fucking just spit it all out. Fucking assholes, dude.
he did a stone cold on that one. He just let it all fall out in front of him. Fall on his shirt.
What an ass. But dude, Greg Hardy is such a big human being, dude. Like,
Did you see when they were like, before Buffer went this thing, he did some kind of like movement and like jumped in the air like 4 feet. You didn't see that before the fight? Yeah, I'm just like, it should be fucking illegal for a human who's 6'4", probably pushing 285 that night, to be able to move that way with that power, with that quick twitch, ferocity, strength.
He's a
big son bitch.
Yeah. And yeah, he's just an overall big athlete.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like, why a lot of people would say, and some of my buddies were talking about, you know, like, do you think that, you know, he was able to come over to UFC and you know, just because of his NFL status? I mean, it had something to do with it, but I think he earned his spot there. I really honestly think that he did.
Well, I remember him coming up like early in like other promotions.
I think he was on that Dana White's Contender Series, I think it was.
Yeah, like he earned that spot last night. Yeah. And I mean, he called out to Tuivasa like Hardy did. He was like, I want to knock that dude out. I want to bang with him. And I saw Tuivasa. I've never seen him fight. And I see him coming in. I'm like, this dude's fun. This dude's like a jokester. He's like, you know, he's got a gimmick. And apparently he's got some motherfucking power too. Because because when Hardy connected first.
Yeah, which Greg Hardy has power too, no doubt.
If you look at him without a shirt on, you'd be like, yeah, that's a given. Like his shoulders are probably like as big as mine, but they're just like jacked to the gills.
Yeah.
And dude, when he hit Tuivasa did the stanky leg. He did a stanky leg, but Greg Hardy didn't follow up. And Tuivasa woke up mid stanky leg. He was like, oh. And
then Hardy got aggressive.
Well, no, Hardy, he tried to like come in to like, I think, grab him. And the right hook was already coming from Tuivasa. And Cole slept Greg Hardy. Yeah. Swelled up his eye and everything.
Dude, I'm telling you, I love watching two heavyweights just. It's like, you know how I talked about the Ngannou and Lewis, the first fight, you know how much of a sleeper it was, and because of two guys that you expect to just come in and throw hands, these dudes came to bang, kill or be killed.
Yeah. Somebody was getting up. Somebody was going to be knocked out tonight.
Yeah,
like you knew it. And I mean, I didn't know anything about Tuivasa, and I know who Greg Hardy is because of football and background, but I was like, this dude's doing shoeies, like drinking beers out of boots and other people's shoes. I was like, gross. But then when he like knocked the hell out of Hardy, I'm like, well, this dude can bang, and he's a character too. Like even when he speaks and he's
so it makes it better, right?
Right, it's, like, it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's like not only are you full outside, but you also do what you're supposed to do in the octagon,
like O'Malley.
Yeah, for sure.
Same thing.
And used to be Conor.
Well, Conor used to win.
But we'll get
Is
there.
that what we're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is like you need to have a personality and you need to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like that. I think that was we'll just touch real quick on the Burns Thompson fight. To me, that's why it was a snooze fest. No personalities,
Mm-hmm.
no killers.
And really, I mean,
Burns just laid on him.
yeah.
I was just like, okay, I guess this is how it's gonna go down. I mean, he secured his number 2 ranking. He needed to win the fight, and he won the fight.
But then, like, if he does go and fight Usman,
He's gonna get tore up.
Dana's gonna be like, I guess you're next in line. Go fight.
Go lose again.
Yeah. He's not gonna be like, hell yeah, I'll give you this much money. You know, he's gonna,
right.
You know, in that sense, like, I do understand. You know, like with how we talk about the entertainment versus the you know, based off of skill set and rankings, true rankings.
Right.
You know,
before we leave that Tuivasa Hardy fight, I was looking at Greg Hardy, like when they were introducing him and everything. And you know what I saw? All I saw was, as soon as Hardy's done with his UFC career, he's gonna go make millions in WWE. He just has that look. I think he has a little bit of a personality too. He seems to be like a jokester. He just maybe is not as articulate, but you're telling me you wouldn't have wars with him, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, the other big humans in the UFC? I mean, the WWE? He would fit right in. Just insert Tom Hardy or Greg Hardy. Instant classics. You just big humans. And he can move. He's athletic, which means he'd probably be safe in the ring with those other competitors. But do you see that or not really?
for sure.
Just
Vince McMahon will cut that check.
he's like, oh, Greg, come on in, Greg.
Hell yeah.
Greg, here we're gonna put you on retainer for $5 million per year, and as you grow in your career, I wouldn't be surprised if you're a $20 million man. You could just see that.
Let's see where
proposal.
you stand when WrestleMania comes around.
Yeah, exactly.
Be a lot of fans that would, like, wrestling fans that would be pissed, dude.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't like him because of, you know, his background, Hardy. But
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of like, what is the proper word? Is that ironic that he's in the UFC?
I thought it was fitting whenever I heard he was going to go to MMA. I'm like, well, at least he's going to beat up on men this time. Why is that funny?
I don't know, man. I mean,
is that the
well,
15-year-old giggle right there?
yeah, because like my girlfriend, she was like, well, that's what he gets, you know. That was for, you know, blah 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 and all that.
That's the vengeance.
Yeah,
the
and I was
revenge.
like, well, I guess. I mean, he's there because, I mean, if, like I said, he earned that spot in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's
he
not
has.
just, you know, so
he's knocked out like I don't know how many knockouts he has, but
yeah.
he knocked out enough people to be in that spot. Let's put it that way.
Look up his record real quick.
Let's get it's 8:43. Let's get into a break real quick. We'll do 6 minutes, and we come back. We'll finish up with Conor and the Cowboys, just to give everybody a break on TV land. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show for our third installment of the night. We'll hop right back into the UFC this time, highlighting the main event between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. I have my crow here to eat in full. All the prognostication by McGregor, Mystic Mac, basically happened to himself Saturday night. So, he was the one who died in the ring. His ego died in the ring for sure. And, had to be carted out. So, good guessing on his end. Just too bad it wasn't for himself. We were discussing a little bit an off time here between James and I. And, I really don't think that was a fight. We had one round. It was, a doctor stoppage, which Conor was clamoring for right when the doctors basically came in. It was like, he was telling Herb Dean, this is a doctor stoppage. It's like, who the fuck are you to be saying anything? Like, you need to just sit right there and eat a little bit of humble pie real quick.
It shows the competitor in him, right?
No, it shows the ego in him.
Okay.
To me, that it shows that he understands who he is. He understands he's the draw, and he's gonna basically, what Herb Dean should have said was, nope, it was a TKO before the bell. That's what he should have said. But I'm sure, being a company man that Herb Dean is, he's going to fall in line with probably Dana's wishes and give the doctor stoppage so that Conor has an out and maybe there's a fourth fight.
You think Dana's
fuck yes. You don't even need to ask me the question.
Funneling some money into his pockets.
Into whose pockets?
Herb Dean.
They said he made $2,000 for the fight. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, he's employed by the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure there's
That's all I was asking
I'm
you.
sure there's other ways for Dana White to pay Herb Dean by having referee classes at Apex Centers for Herb Dean and whoever Dana wants to, help out.
You got some investigative journalism going on?
No, it's just logical, just logic sense. Okay, both combatants are going to make millions, and Herb Dean, the guy who's going to basically control how this fight's going to end, is going to be paid $2,000.
Okay, what if he was like, we need a TKO? Like, if it's funny with Sean O'Malley, we need a TKO. We don't need a decision with Sean O'Malley. Can you do that? 30 seconds left.
I didn't want to say this. But can we get a camera on Dana White at minute 4:31 in the third round? Because I want to see what Dana White's doing while Herb Dean goes and stops that fight. Because if Dana does any kind of gesture, hand motion, like the Montreal screw job, when Vince McMahon is telling people to ring the bell when Shawn Michaels has Bret Hart in the what's that move called?
The sharpshooter.
The sharpshooter, yeah. How do we know Dana wasn't telling Herb Dean in the O'Malley fight, like, hey, ring that motherfucking bell. We don't need this to go to decision. It just makes you think maybe there's a fix. I don't know. Dana has to control his brand, and you got to give outs for Conor. And because it's in your best financial interest for Dana White in the UFC. Would you agree with that, or would you be like,
I can't argue with you there, for sure.
It's in their best interest because who else is going to draw?
I mean,
Ngannou should draw, but Ngannou's not there. Amanda Nunes should draw, but they had to put Derek Lewis on that card.
Poor Juliana Pena.
She has no business. Now we didn't talk about the women's matchup, but Irene Aldana, she is the closest competitor to Amanda Nunes, size wise. She's 5'9", Nunes is 5'9". They both fight at 155, right, or 145? I think it's 45.
Yeah, 45. Yeah, because she has the 35 and the 45 belt, right?
And
she's defending them too simultaneously, right?
And Aldana is a great striker.
What a beast, dude! Hands down, greatest female MMA.
Yeah, it's because she trains with Brazilian dudes.
Yeah.
There's no women for her to train. She can't compete. She can't train with women. They can't compete. It would be like men training with children. Like for her, that's what it's like when she trains with women. But getting back to Conor and Dustin, doctor stoppage, okay, fine.
Let's get your let's go back and get your play-by-play, your thought process from the beginning of the fight to, the ankle break.
Conor looked, in my opinion, Conor looked nervous. He kept throwing these. He tried to distract Poirier, in my opinion, with these just those
the calf kicks.
Not the calf kicks. Those were they side kicks? Both those two side kicks. They went around the ring. Conor was trying to close the distance.
Well, at first I was like, dude, those kicks are landing. Poirier, time and time again, I've seen MMA matches, Nate Diaz that are, the ones that come to mind that are very frustrating. And I'm like, dude, you got to do something about that, because if you don't, it becomes a major problem. Like as it did in the last Poirier and Conor fight. Conor, he didn't do nothing about it. Sooner or later, his
I think that's what Conor was doing, was trying to distract Poirier with his kicks.
Yeah, it opens up other stuff, definitely.
But Conor couldn't close the distance. And I think the other thing too is I don't think Conor had an offense for Poirier's defense, like his shell defense. Like whenever Conor gets close, Dustin's just going to cover up and he'll counter. But in Conor's big wins, he was always the counter striker. But now he's on the offensive, and that's not his game. His game is to let you get close and let you miss, and he'll catch you. So maybe he's a little bit overconfident now that he's been training boxing in his hands, and he thinks that'll translate. It hasn't. The old Conor did. The old Conor was, let me agitate you, let me get you riled up, let me get you to show your hand pre-fight, and then when you slip, I'm going to catch you. He ain't been doing that in the last 3 fights.
Well, since 2018. Actually, before that, he hasn't been doing that.
Yeah, so wasn't that the third fight in 2018?
Yeah, I got his whole little spews.
Because he has 3 L's in a row, right? Khabib, Dustin twice.
Yeah, he has. So of course his loss on Saturday to Dustin.
Well, I forgot Cowboy. That doesn't really count.
Yeah. So he fought. Okay, so his last win, notable in my opinion, was Eddie Alvarez, November 12th, 2016, and that's when he became the champ.
That's so long ago.
Yes. Okay. Since then, he fought Floyd Mayweather a year later in 2017, which he lost in boxing. Then he came back. Okay. Then he came back and he lost to Khabib in 2018.
Dominant loss.
He beat Cowboy Cerrone, which, come on, man.
Nope.
It's on his last leg.
Not impressive.
Then he lost back-to-back Dustin Poirier, January 23rd at the beginning of this year, and then again this past weekend, July 10th, 2021, lost to Dustin Poirier again.
It's time to
both
hang him up
by knockouts.
It's time to hang him up.
You think so?
It's time.
So this is what I think that just like Nate Diaz, as big as a fan as I am, the championship fights are no longer there for Conor. But people are still going to pay to see. There's still the trilogy fight that people will pay to see, to watch Nate and Conor. Yep. Even though it's not going to be for shit, they'll still watch it. There's still fights out there for Conor. It's just not top-tier fights.
They're not championship fights.
Yeah.
Unless, what we talked about before we started the show was, Dana already said Dustin's going to fight for the belt. He's going to fight Oliveira for the belt. Well, in the meantime, Conor's going to have surgery. He's going to rehab. He'll probably have one fight. And if Dustin holds the belt until Conor comes back and has one tune-up fight, he's going to fight for the title.
If I was Dustin, I'd be like, nope, I'm not signing that shit.
And what happens when Dana comes to you and says, Dustin, we're going to pay you both $20 million? How do you go to your wife and say, I walked away from $20 million? He talks about his setting up his future for his daughter. How do you tell your daughter, Daddy, why aren't we as well off as we could be? Because I walked away from a $20 million contract. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Yeah. I'm just saying hypothetically.
No, yeah. When you put it like that, yeah, it's understandable.
You got to remember, you got to be confident as all get out. You figured out Conor McGregor.
And I think he beats him. In another,
It appears Dustin is Conor's kryptonite.
Yeah, in my opinion, he was beating him. Conor does have some punches if he catches you with that left, but Dustin, dude, in my opinion, Dustin had him. He has him on the stand up. Yep. He has him if it goes to the ground. He has him in the clinch. Like, dude, Dustin's been on fire, dude, lately. He's only lost in the past. Like, I have his whole little thing pulled up as well. So Dustin started way back.
How far are you going back?
So his last loss.
This could be.
So let's go back to Conor McGregor in 2014.
Oh, that's a long way.
Yeah, I know. But since then, he won 1, 2, 3, 4. He won a 4-fight win streak, and then he lost to Michael Johnson in 2016. Since then, he has beat Jim Miller in 2017, no contest versus Eddie Alvarez because he got kneed in the head. They ended up running that back. But then Anthony Pettis submission, Justin Gaethje TKO to punches, Eddie Alvarez TKO.
Those are 3 big fights.
Dude, Max Holloway.
Big fight.
Max Holloway win. That was a unanimous decision. Lost to Khabib, which is like, it's Khabib. It's the GOAT of the 155 division. Decision to Dan Hooker, and back-to-back wins. Back-to-back, a knockout and a TKO to McGregor. Back-to-back. Nobody has beaten McGregor back-to-back.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
There's an asterisk by the second one. There is a doctor stoppage.
Yeah.
There's an asterisk, but the round. You saw the scorecards. Did you see the scorecards that came out for the 3 judges?
It was.
They were all 10-9 for Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
So that just lets you know he won that first round, which he did. And I don't know if Conor had enough to get it done with. They only had 3 rounds. I don't think they were going 5. And so
No. 5-round main event.
They were going 5 rounds?
Yeah, 5-round main event.
Okay. Well, then that tells you even more they need to have a 4th fight.
I mean, Conor was like,
It would have to be for the belt. And Conor would have to beat someone big to get there.
I don't know who has got a title shot coming off of 2 losses other than fucking Yoel Romero.
He'd have to have a big win.
Yeah.
That tune-up fight would have to be like a big win. It would have to be like...
What are they going to bring back? Diego Sanchez?
No. It would have to be like someone Oliveira's level or...
Tony Ferguson?
The new guy that came in from Bellator. He just fought Oliveira's in the title fight.
Michael Chandler?
It would have to be something like Chandler. Oliveira, Chandler, the top of the food chain. That's what you have to be.
So now that you bring that would be good. So when McGregor gets healthy, and Chandler would have to fight a redemption fight, in my opinion, coming off of that one, because I mean I like Michael Chandler, but what I've noticed lately is, you know, when guys came over from Pride Fighting Championships, and also when guys come over from Bellator, the UFC is just the top tier competition in the world. There's no doubt about it. So when you come over, you have guys that like, I'm like, dude, I like that guy. And they get mobbed, you know, by the UFC guys.
Right.
So Michael Chandler is going to have another fight versus top tier talent at that, and then make McGregor versus Chandler. And then if McGregor wins that one and Dustin still has the belt, then we got a big ass fight. 4. How many fights? I mean, they call the trilogy the 3rd one. What do you call the 4th one? The 4th fight.
No, they'd come up. They'd have to get creative.
Yeah. But how many fighters do you see have a 4th fight? And that's Dana bending over backwards. You know what I mean?
To the dollar, not to Conor.
For sure. I mean, I don't know. Every fight that Conor has lost, right away he gets a redemption fight. The Nate Diaz fight
because Conor brings the money.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
It would be the same. It would be the same thing as if who called out? Somebody called out Masvidal Saturday night. I forgot. I think maybe Burns.
I think it was Burns. Yeah,
I think Burns called out Masvidal. I could see something like that, but Masvidal's coming off a loss. The popular fighters are coming off losses.
Yeah, so that was another statistic that I saw. So all of the UFC's top draws: Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, and Jorge Masvidal are all coming off.
But there's
losses.
one more. There's one more that hasn't been in the octagon in over 6 years. And
Nick?
Just wait till that pops.
Is that Nick?
Yeah, wait till Nick Robbie Lawler happens in January probably.
You gonna give me some praise?
Oh man, yeah, you called it. You called it on the head. You were like, I want to see Nick and Robbie Lawler, and sure as shit, that's like what everybody's leaning towards.
Yeah.
Which will probably be inked, which is good for both fighters.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is where does it happen?
Yeah, true.
You know?
That and you know, I've grown up with MMA and watching MMA, and that's like early on, like when I was younger and stuff, I'd be like Nate or Nick all the way, and I was pissed off when Nick lost to GSP, but GSP was the more complete fighter. My girlfriend was telling me, she said, you're always like with these fighters, like with Conor McGregor, because I liked him, and then when he went hot, I I was like, dude, this guy's not it. And then he knocked out Jose Aldo. He went on the street. And she was like, you used to be like that with that one guy that beat Nick Diaz. And I was like, oh, you're talking about George. She's like, yeah, now you love him. And I'm like, well, how can you not like George St. Pierre? He's like one of the GOATs of the sport, you know? But that's just how I am with fighters, you know? Like I'm very passionate when it comes to MMA and stuff. So
Oh, I think everybody can tell.
that's it. I'll be here. Back to Conor. Huh?
All I got to say is UFC and you wake up.
Yeah, but dude, it was an excellent. I felt like the card lived up to it.
I didn't.
No.
Mm-mm. The last two fights were just like Burns and Thompson was a snooze fest, and then Conor breaks his ankle or leg or whatever. Like the lead up, yeah. O'Malley, great. The Aldana fight, great. The Tuivasa Hardy fight, great. And then boop, just falls.
I mean, the Conor thing, man, it's just it's so unfortunate, dude. I mean,
but it's always this unfortunate. It's this unfortunate thing, and it's like,
but it's just the nature of the sport.
And I'm like, dude, Sean O'Malley doesn't have these problems. Derek Lewis don't have these problems.
He got hurt that one time,
but he finished the fight. He won.
No, there was that one that he lost. He lost the fight because he had hurt his leg. Was this in the Apex Center?
Not
yeah.
Okay, I think I remember.
Yeah, I think we watched that fight together.
I think I remember.
But we were talking at work with a coworker, and
I guess I just feel like at this level it shouldn't occur, but it is. Yeah, it does.
Especially on the grand stage when you have a fight built up as big as McGregor and Poirier 3. You know, like it's very unfortunate, but it's the nature of the sport. You know, I was like, man, we've seen Weidman, Anderson. Like, and it almost to the point, like, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? We were talking about my buddy at work. He was like, what if Ngannou and John Jones fight? And he's like, I wouldn't be one bit surprised if John Jones kicks him and snaps his ankle. And I was like, you know what? I was like, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised one bit, dude.
Well, are all of these fractures occurring due to what these athletes are putting in their body, potentially? Maybe USADA isn't doing such a good job.
I'm going to quote Nate Diaz. Everybody's on steroids.
I'm just saying, maybe USADA is not doing as good a job. Nate Diaz, just saying, he's the one who called everybody out.
Yeah.
And if you tell me Nate Diaz is on steroids, you're a loon. Look, he's a beanpole. Look at him.
Yeah.
His arms are as big as my pinky.
Yeah. So let me ask you something, Paul. What do you think about Conor's tirade after, as Dustin Poirier is walking out the cage, Joe Rogan's sitting there?
Cry me a motherfucking river.
Isn't it crazy? It's like, bro, you're sitting there on the floor. This guy's walking out to just beat you, and you're just like,
maybe we should do an edit, and we'll do a quick little video of putting Justin Timberlake's "Cry Me a River" over to Conor's little rant. It's like, cry me a river.
I don't know if I could stand that song for as long as the edit takes.
Only 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. Nothing wrong with 30 seconds.
You know I'm a perfectionist, so I got to hear it over and over and over.
All I saw was, like, I was hurt for Conor because for that to happen, I was let down. I was like deflated. I was like, man, this fucking sucks. But then he kept going. And like when he was like, it's a doctor stoppage. It's a doctor stoppage. And I'm like, yeah, it's a doctor stoppage. But then he kept going and like talking shit to Poirier's wife, talking shit to Poirier, talking about killing them. And I'm like, dude, like your leg just snapped. Like, just shut the fuck up already, bro. Like, just take it easy. But I get it. He's selling the next fight. That's what he's doing. He's selling for his comeback. And it's going to be all this content. They're going to mix it together with him training and his little, routine coming back. And they're going to show this clip, and there's going to be built up anger, built up frustration, which is going to cause us to have an emotional reaction. And we're going to pay that $70.
Yeah. Man. I also have a question for you. Like, I heard people questioning Joe Rogan's decision to go and interview him and sit down there with him
because of his comments in the past.
No, just because of the fact that he had just broke his ankle, and it's like
It's not like he wasn't shutting the fuck up.
yeah. So yeah, I was like, well, I would have done the same shit. They're in his ear. He has an earpiece. I guarantee you, they were like, get your ass over there.
Well, I listen. Joe does not strike me as anyone who's gonna like take orders willingly. But I more or less thought that Joe went to go talk to Conor because Joe really wanted to know what Conor was saying.
Yeah, I was hoping he would too. I was like, they better go interview Conor McGregor right
because
now.
My belief was Joe's not going over there to like get a hot take. Joe's, as a fan, genuinely curious, like, what's going on in Conor McGregor's brain right now? And that's why he went to go do it. It just so happened to work out that it's going to benefit the company.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know Joe in the past says, I hate interviewing fighters after they get knocked out, blah, 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 blah. And I thought maybe that would have been what people are kind of taking into consideration in this instance. Although Conor didn't get knocked out, although he had a broken bone in his leg, but Conor was still cognitive to this point where he was mouthing off at times where he shouldn't have been mouthing off. It's like, dude, you can't be talking shit on a stretcher, okay? Like, here I'm gonna tell a quick story. I'm at a bar. I had a buddy. It's his birthday, and he's getting served up drinks, and it ends up bad. He ends up, passing out in the bathroom. We're having to carry him out, and it's like, dude, you can't holler at chicks looking the way you're looking. Just can't happen. And in this instance, you can't have predicted that you were going to send out Poirier on a stretcher. And what ends up happening is that you're carried out on a stretcher, and now you're trying to talk shit. It doesn't work that way. That's why the look was so bad, in my opinion.
My last question for you.
Well, you're sure Mr. Journalist today.
Did you see what Ronda Rousey tweeted?
Yeah, I did see that.
What do you think about that?
Maybe they had a little special time together. Maybe she's standing up for her friend.
She's the one in his DMs.
Maybe she's just channeling her inner Loretta Lynn. Stand by your man. Stand by your man. I don't know that song. Yeah.
I was like, dude.
Can you tell the people what she said?
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick.
Oh, I thought you had it on hand.
I was just thinking, I was like, dude, well, you're talking about him promoting the fight. That's better than what you did when she fucking lost. She just walked out the goddamn cage.
But remember those? Do you remember those press conferences when Conor was on the come up and Ronda was still like making her own name in the UFC? And anytime Conor would mouth off like, "Who the fuck is that? I've got more of this," and she's just cheesing. She's just like in the front. She's just like smiling ear to ear. You can't see her eyes because they're so beady. And she's just like soaking it up. I don't know, man. Maybe she's just got a thing for Conor. She just likes that bravado.
So,
although she did take up for Nick too, when
she did some training with the Diaz brothers.
Well, apparently,
they did their jiu-jitsu.
Apparently, Eskimo brothers seem to be a bigger circle in the UFC than we may have thought previously. Allegedly.
Ronda Rousey tweeted, "I'm amazed that as soon as you hit the ground, you're already promoting the next fight at Notorious MMA. I definitely wouldn't have had the mind to do that," which she didn't. "The other fighters and UFC and media are lucky to have you."
Looks like she's ready to kiss the boo-boo and make it better.
Which, I mean, dude, like she was gonna get beat, and it was like she got exposed, man. Like these girls, like she wasn't facing top tier talent. Once she fought Holly Holm, which is top tier talent in my opinion, and then they set her up for her comeback fight against Amanda Nunes, bro. They set her up for failure.
I don't give a shit about Ronda Rousey.
I'm just saying, she was the pioneer. Before was Gina Carano, of course.
She was a pie in something. Pie in the sky.
So my cousin had asked me, and I was talking with a coworker earlier. It was funny because he asked me, and he was like equating Ronda Rousey to Conor McGregor once people figured her out, stuff like that. He was like, "How do you feel about like Conor McGregor being how Ronda Rousey was now that seems like people have figured him out. Not people.
Only one person's figured out
Yeah,
Conor.
yeah.
That's my response to it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like he has the ground game. Khabib, Dustin was getting
listen,
them.
man, you can't compare
Yeah,
Khabib to
I know,
anybody.
but you also just can't count it out. I mean, he's top tier, but it's almost a given. But I mean, Dustin also on the ground game.
You're coming from a point where saying that Dustin dominated Conor in 3 fights, and that's not true. He only dominated Conor in one round of a fight, and you're insinuating that he beat Conor in 5 rounds or knocked him out, and that's not what happened in the second fight. And now that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why there needs to be probably a 4th fight, because we haven't seen a body of work in 3 fights. No, but that's your bias that you're kind of entertaining there. See, I could easily say, well, Conor already knocked out Dustin, and Dustin already knocked out Conor.
Well, we've been through this. He clipped him on the top of his fucking head. He hit him right on the side of the temple. Conor in the first fight. He clipped him.
That's not what the decision was. The official decision was that he was knocked out.
Okay.
Same thing for Dustin in early 2021. In this fight, we were supposed to have a decision. We were supposed to figure it out. Well, then Conor broke his leg. So we don't have anything. We really have 1 versus 1, and Dustin is up 1 round.
But you don't, you just don't. It's a fight regardless. Like, I've been watching, I've seen freak accidents.
Okay, if it was a fight, then why didn't they let him go into round 2?
No, I'm just saying, like, you don't count, like, I mean, you take what you have, and Dustin dominated, in my opinion, the round. You take what you have.
Agreed.
It ended there, and that's that. It's unfortunate, but you take what you have. He won the fucking round. And in my opinion, strong opinion, he was going to dominate the fight. There was nothing that told me that Conor McGregor, maybe he learned something besides the leg kicks.
You're just totally discounting Conor's left hand.
I said besides the leg kicks.
Oh, the left hand.
Dustin, I didn't see him get rocked or anything like that.
In the first fight, you did.
Okay,
What
are we talking about? The third fight?
You want to talk about all the fights together. You're
saying we're talking about the third fight.
Listen, you made the first situation that you brought up was Dustin has dominated Conor McGregor.
I didn't say that. I said he dominated him in the second fight and the third fight. Mainly in the third fight.
There wasn't a third fight. There was 1 round.
I can look up Sherdog right now, and it says there was a third fight.
And there was a doctor stoppage.
Yeah, it's a fight. It's a fight regardless. No matter if you can say, and Dana can say, that's not.
That's like saying you're going to go have an injury mid fight, and you don't want to continue.
It's a fight regardless. You got to take it how it is.
Just like the homeboy had, he got kicked in the back of the leg, and he had that drop foot injury. Motherfucker still wanted to go. Why wouldn't they let him fight? Because the doctor said no. Same thing in this instance.
I know, but it's still, does it have an asterisk by it, like officially?
No.
Okay, so you got to take what you have from that fight. There was nothing in the third fight. I'm talking about the third fight, not the first, not the second, the third fight. There was nothing that leads me to believe that Conor McGregor was going to come back in the second fight. Nothing significant other than the leg kick, which I feel like Dustin towards the end of the first round, and it sucks that I am just talking about 1 round, he had shut it, he checked 1, but I feel like he had him on the ground, on the stand up. I feel like when they went to the ground, he had him there. There was nothing that led me to believe like, oh yeah, the second round, man, it's going to be, but it is Conor McGregor. There is the left hand still there. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that there was nothing to lead me to believe that that Conor McGregor was going to turn things around and win the second fight. The second round.
Let me ask you your thoughts on the end of the first round. And in the end of the first round, Joe Rogan put out a video of the end of the first round, and I sent it to you and you watched it. When you watch the fight live between Conor and Dustin, the end of the fight is so dramatic because nobody knows in the moment. Nobody knew Conor's leg was broke. All we saw was Dustin close the distance and clip Conor, and Conor falls on the ground and covers up, and Dustin's meleeing on him. That's what we remember, right? It wasn't until
I don't mean to sound like a dickhead, but whenever Conor fell and I saw that he had fell like that, and it like there was just like something, I was like, something's wrong. he heard something.
You instantly knew what something was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like a Mr. fucking know-it-all, but I knew
his head wrong? Was something wrong with his head?
I knew something. I knew an injury had occurred, and as soon as.
But what part of the body did you assume that it occurred in?
I mean, I didn't know. I just knew something was wrong because I knew that he had got like he fell back, and I was like, this isn't right. This doesn't look normal.
Right, because Conor doesn't just fall unless he gets damaged.
Yeah, for sure.
So okay, that's what I want to identify.
I didn't think
when I saw it, that's what I thought. I thought Dustin caught him and he was out, like he was foggy in his mind, and that's why he covered up. And I'm like, why is he covering up? Because I did not take him falling that way as an injury had occurred. I took it as Dustin rocked his ass. And I want to know, and you told me, but I don't know if your response is coming from your bias against Conor.
So I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, the individuals.
But it does matter.
Well, I mean, I can tell you what happened, but you know, the individuals I was hanging out, I was like, dude, why did he do that? I was like, something's wrong. And then, of course, you know, he went over to his right side. Yeah. And then he took some punches. And then he immediately rolled back over to his left. And I was like, he's fucking hurt. He's fucking hurt. Right. It wasn't until we saw the replay that when he stepped back on that back left foot, that it just folded underneath
and I agree. Like, I thought he was hurt as well. But I thought it was due to the strikes. It never crossed my brain that it was a lower leg injury. Yeah. And then when the lower leg injury occurred, I'm like, oh, this is fucking stupid. This is dumb. Why did this happen? And then as the days went by, I'm like, what did we learn? Are we really gonna take what happened at the end of the fight as if Dustin totally dominated that round? And for most, you could say yes. But at the same time, it's like, what if we don't get to see that end? What if we just see Conor fall and he grabs his leg and we don't get to see the strikes that Conor takes on from Dustin as the round ends? Is it different? Are we going to have a different sense of the fight? And I think we would if Conor instantly grabs his ankle and Dustin doesn't get those shots off.
Dustin was putting it on him, man. He in my opinion, he flicks that switch and he just starts pouring on the punches.
I'm not talking about the whole round. I'm talking about
but you're saying if we didn't get to see that, I'm talking about what we did get to see.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. But I
believe it's my belief that those closing seconds of that round changed everybody's thought about how dominant Dustin was.
Not mine.
But you've identified you have a bias.
No, you've already labeled me that I'm biased.
But you said, yeah, that's right.
Did I? I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I just want it to be. I want you to have a little bit more.
I just don't see. Look,
we watch a little bit more neutral. That's all.
I try to be as neutral as I can.
I know you try.
There's nothing in my like, dude. Like, why give a fourth fight? What was Conor doing in this fight? You tell me. What was he doing in this fight different than he did in the third fight, other than the leg kicks?
Just the same Conor. That's the way he fights.
There's nothing.
When you say there's nothing, that means like he didn't throw any punches, he didn't throw any kicks.
Come on, bro. Now you're being sarcastic.
No, it's true. You can't just dismiss you can't dismiss that he did nothing in the round.
Okay.
You can say that he typically fought the way he did as he did before in the second fight when he got knocked out.
What I'm saying is, what are we going to have this fourth fight? And then if Conor wins, what are we going to have a fifth fight? Come on, man. What are we doing here? It's a Dustin and Conor company. We're just paying to watch these guys. No,
it's the Conor. It's the Conor company.
What does that fucking do for me? Like I've told you before. What does that do for me?
You can watch or not watch.
Yeah, I want to see top tier competition. Like I've told you, which I understand after this past. Conor's top tier, bro. You're fucking riding you've lost to Dustin prior to that. You beat a fucking one-legged Cowboy Cerrone. You've lost to top tier Khabib.
Okay, before that. You just said this isn't the Dustin Conor company. I said it was. So now you want to just
you said this is the Conor show.
No, this is the Conor company.
You said that's what you said.
Yeah, that's the Conor company.
All right, dude. I'm done.
No, it's okay to have a in-depth discussion about this. All I'm saying is that
no, but you're telling me I said something that I didn't say. I didn't say that it was. You told me you were like I said it was a Conor Dustin company.
You did say that.
All right.
We'll run it back.
All right.
So to get back to close this up, because this took way longer than I
told you it was.
Well, I was going to cut you off, but you kept going. I'm like, well, let's just let him get it out of his system because you were huffing and puffing over there.
Well, I mean, other days you're here like, what's wrong with you, man?
I just need you to let it out. That's all. I mean, you must have been around a lot of Conor fans this past weekend. Where are you?
Nah, man. I know what I saw.
Okay, Conor's a bum. Dustin's going to be the champ.
Did I say he's a bum?
I'm saying that. I'm saying it.
Okay.
I think what needs to happen is you need to remove Conor and insert Sean O'Malley, and as far as your stars, and that should be it. But that's not going to happen.
When we were talking about Dana worrying about Conor and the fourth fight potential, I was like, dude, like I mean, I know that it might be. I'm not a fucking, what is he, a billionaire?
Who?
Dana.
Nah, I don't think he's a billionaire, but he has a lot of money.
I don't have a shitload of money, and I don't know how to run a company and fighters like this. But I'm like, maybe it's time to let Conor sell, work up Sean O'Malley, dude. He's there. I'm a fucking big fan. You know, you got other fighters, work them up and all of that stuff. I understand that a fighter like Conor McGregor is very rare, and I've told you that my feelings toward him have been like hate. And now, I do like the guy. I don't hate him. I just thought that Dustin Poirier, I feel like Dustin Poirier has worked harder. Again, I don't know Dustin Poirier. It just comes off to me that way, and I like the way he fights. I know that he's been active. He's been hungry and tasting. He's not like, he's like, I'll fight the top tier competition. Justin Gaethje, fucking Max Holloway, Pettis.
Right.
Like, dude, he's like, whenever, like, we go through the fighters that he's defeated, and I'm like, dude, Max Holloway, like, fuck, he's been at work. Meanwhile, this guy, McGregor, I don't know. People are saying that he's gotten lazy because of the money that he's made. Who knows? I don't know. I don't make that kind of money. So, I mean, it could be, but, I don't know, man. I want to see the top guys fight each other, and in this case, McGregor was 5 going into this round, which I know the aura that surrounds McGregor. I know what happens when he books a fight. I'd watch him fight live if I could, but, I just try and call it how I see it, man.
That you do. And there's nothing wrong with that. That I think a lot of what gets caught up in the minutia and the emotion is that a lot of times our personal not feelings, but maybe values get caught up, and you appreciate more of a hardworking fighter in Dustin, and you've grown to dislike Conor as far as his personality due to the fact that he's now a made man, and I can understand that. It's like, show me your hard work, don't show me your bank account, and I understand that, but
because like I've said before, what the fuck does that do for me?
Well, I mean, if you watch it, it's giving you entertainment.
True.
That's the thing is like,
well, not this past weekend.
My biggest thing with like when people come at me with that, especially like in the football arena, like when football gets highly political, I'm like, well, then don't fucking watch.
Yeah.
I have a real simple solution for you. And it's like, if you have that much of a strong feeling about it, it's a simple solution. But then you're like, well, I want to watch it. And it's like, you can either watch it. You have a right to complain. No, everybody does. You have a right to protest. You have a right to do all this as long as you do it peacefully. But at the end of the day, I don't want to hear you belly aching because you're not getting what you want out of a certain product. It's the same thing with like shampoo. It's the same thing with a television, with a cable service, with with anything that you can control.
Yeah.
If you can control how you consume it, then you can voice your opinion that way.
I mean, I understand because it's like the same thing that I said with Jake Paul fighting. Like people, I saw people on Facebook, they're like, this is what boxing has come to. And I'm like, dude, well, like, if like you're fucking like helping this dude by like bringing his name up and talking about it,
putting energy into it.
Yeah, and I know you watched it, motherfucker, but that's not how I feel about Conor McGregor. I like Conor McGregor. He's good for the sport. I feel like he brought a lot of attention and he's elevated a lot of fighters' pay. I feel like he's very good for the sport, and it's entertaining. I like him. Like one of my buddies, he's just like a diehard Conor McGregor fan, and I like talking shit to him. But at the end of the day, like it's good, like for friendship, for fucking the
Podcast.
yeah, for podcasts, for content, and I got to hang out with them this weekend, and it's cool, man. But I'm just talking about like as far as like a fourth fight, I guess what I might be thinking about it as like Dustin Poirier being inactive, and I didn't like what Dana said, where he's like Dustin will go do his thing, and when Conor's ready, I forgot what he said, but I'm like, when Conor's ready, how about when Dustin's ready, motherfucker? Like,
it's just like I told you earlier. This is Conor's company right now.
Maybe when I'm making millions, man, and we're like, is Conor fighting? That way we can decide when we're gonna fly out.
We'll be kind of old as fuck. Well, it'll be.
Oh, damn.
It'll be no. Because Conor's 32. It'll be like, is O'Malley fighting? It'll be like that.
Well, then we'll be flying out to a Triller fight if Conor's still fighting.
Listen, I'm put it this way: UFC's not gonna lose O'Malley to Triller.
No, Conor.
Man, if Triller is around when McGregor's 40, I'm just gonna throw up.
Hey, dude.
Unless I own it, and then there's different.
Dude, fucking Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz fought on Oscar De La Hoya's defunct company that is no longer.
Yeah, that fight bankrupted that company.
It was horrible, dude. I wish I wouldn't have watched that fight.
Dana told him not to do it. Well, we were going to talk Dallas Cowboys football, but we ran long. Next time I'm cutting you off. Hey, man, but I'm glad you were. Let me put it this way. I heard you breathing through the mic, and I never hear that. And I'm like, he's got something to say. I'm gonna let him just go. You just let him do his thing tonight. You get out.
Regardless of what we talk about, and all that stuff.
Negative energy.
Yeah, regardless of what we talk about in our opinions, I love being here, Paul. I like doing the show with you, man.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, I do too.
For sure, man.
I got some things going on. I gotta wrap this up.
For sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all watching the show. Tomorrow we'll definitely talk about some Cowboys. There's some big stuff going on, I think, in Dallas, and I'm definitely want to visit on it. But till tomorrow. We'll see y'all then and be back at 8 o'clock. Appreciate y'all tuning in.